As we watch A8274 land, this concludes a short sequence we've called Pig Amongst the Trees. Filming was in dull conditions from busy Richmond Road. It was spectacular having an F-111 fast, low and overhead, and we wanted to share our experience with you. The F-111 on static display at Richmond, A8129, is a C model from No. 1 Squadron, part of 82 Wing, tasked with the all-weather day-night precision strike role. It was one of the first flight of 6 aircraft, out of an initial order of 24, to arrive at Amberley, Queensland on June 1st, 1973, commencing F-111 operations with the RAAF. The F-111C fleet has since received several upgrades to enhance avionics, self-protection, power plant and precision strike capability. Fitting of the PAVE-TAC laser designator pod has allowed laser-guided munitions to be deployed in addition to iron bombs. Weapons now available to the F-111C include the AGM-84 Harpoon anti-ship missile for maritime strike and the AIM-9M Sidewinder air-to-air missile for self-protection. The latest acquisition is the AGM-142E Popeye long-range standoff missile, due to achieve full operational capability in 2007. The Popeye, or Raptor, as known in RAAF service, is seen here on the port side outer wing pylon. Papidus will now tell us more about this missile.
Rightio, this is the AGM-142E Raptor missile. It's a standoff weapon where the range is in excess of 80 kilometres from launch. It works with a data link pod on the other side of the aircraft, which transmits a real-time signal to the aircrew so they can monitor its progress and guide it in. The weapon weighs in excess of 3,000 pounds and is integrated just merely into the F-111. It's fitted with an infrared seeker in the nose, which transmits an infrared picture to the aircrew, which gives them a nighttime and bad weather capability, and the number of features are included on the missile. First and foremost, we have some canards. These don't move, they're purely for stability. The Raptor is manoeuvred by these movable canards here. These provide manoeuvrability to the missile. The missile can be launched in a number of modes. We can launch it high-high-low or low-low-high, or we can give it a number of waypoints to follow, and which will follow the waypoints to the target, including an off-axis launch or a direct axis launch. We can also give it a low-level launch, which will feature a pop towards the target and a terminal dive. Moving on to the rear of the missile, we have the telemetry antenna. This antenna faces back towards the aircraft and onto the data link pod to transmit a real-time signal so that the aircrew can follow the progress of the missile and give update and guidance information. Above the antenna we have a heat deflector. Because this is a CATM, a captive air training munition, we don't have a rocket motor fitted. However, if we do, we have a blast shield here, a heat shield to protect the antenna from any heat plume. Working in concert with the AGM-142E, we have the data link pod. This has two antennas, one fore, one aft, which is able to receive the uplink signal from the missile, and this transmits a signal to the cockpit where the navigator can use these MFDs to provide uplink and data updates and steering and guidance to the missile.
The F-111G model, two of which are seen here on the flight line at Richmond, are operated by No. 6 Squadron, also part of 82 Wing, based at RAAF Base Amberley in Queensland. The G models were acquired by the RAAF from Strategic Air Command and flew to Australia following overhaul at the Sacramento Air Logistics Center at McClellan Air Force Base, California. A8274, which flew on the Friday practice day, arrived in Australia in December 1993, and A8271, the display aircraft for both Saturday and Sunday, arrived in January 1994. The F-111G is primarily used for operational support and conversion. It lacks the PAVE-TAC pod, but can still perform land strike, close air support and battlefield interdiction. The G models are being progressively retired from service and will likely be gone by 2008.
Squadron Leader Mike Sullivan. Call sign today, Savage 1. Well, this is one of the things that I'm right. We're the only country in the world still operating. And this is the most extraordinary aircraft that I'm talking through.
The aircraft yesterday today is an F-111 G number 6 Squadron.
Is that afterburners on?
That's correct. With afterburners on, this aircraft is capable of fuel flows in excess of 140,000 pounds per hour. In layman's terms, that's about 2.5 tons of VP every second.
That'll do it. Let's get quiet as it comes through.
The aircraft's attaining a speed of 540 knots to Mach 0.9. In this pass, we have 4-point hesitation roll. aircraft too, and they'll close them up for the next pass.
We can see the aircraft in Delta formation.
The aircraft will shortly sweep the wings back to 72 degrees. At this stage, the wings are around about 40 degrees. That allows for optimum roll control. And turn and set the RAAF Base Richmond can expect a dump and burn. As you see, the aircraft is slowing down now. It's slowing and 72 wings being set. The aircraft will be at a high angle of attack. What that means is that the nose will be sitting slightly in a higher position than you normally see for the previous passes. Absolutely. We primarily would use the afternoon on every takeoff to get us into the air as soon as possible, and obviously running away from the enemy and weapons passes, we'll use the afterburner to get maximum speed. They'll reposition over the crowd again, and a high speed pass for another dump and burn. The slower they are with the actual pass, the bigger the flame is for the dump and burn. Striking aircraft that sorry does hold, and we'll come and go off.
But suddenly it can look like a truck. You could have
It'll be like a tank. Yes, there's been a number of instances over the years that have highlighted the strength of that, so everyone has full confidence in the ability of the aircraft.
Now the navigator is aircraft is email.
That's right, there's one of 5 emails that we do have, and it's done a very good job. The wings will sweep at around about 2 degrees per second. So if you watch when the aircraft rolls out on downwind, you'll see the wings start sweeping forward once they go down, and they'll sweep the wings full forward to 16 degrees for landing, and that's to enable the aircraft to fly as slow as possible for a landing approach.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Chief of Air Force has joined us here today, Marshal Jeff Shepherd. Also a great pleasure to have the Chief of Navy, Vice Admiral Russ Shoulders, joining us here as well.
As the aircraft comes in to approach, they're flying at a speed of about 130 knots, 10 degrees angle of attack.
And move down. Push back the power a little, rolling the back two. Watch your ears, ladies and gentlemen, to come past you on that taxi range.
Please do keep them away. They appreciate the support and very much enjoyed being here today. Thank you.
Conditions on Sunday were cloudy but brighter than during the Saturday show. The F-111 again performed below display. Cloud patterns and the Blue Mountains provided an interesting backdrop.
Forward to 16 degrees for takeoff and landing, and back to 72.5 degrees to fly as fast as possible.
Aircraft land affectionately in the RAAF is the peak, ladies and gentlemen. Get quiet and let you hear some of the grunt.
Yeah, I'm hoping it'll happen again.
At altitude, 2,700 kilometres an hour.
That means ambling to Richmond.
Ambling to Richmond in around about 15 minutes at plus 2.5, but 42 minutes just cruising normally. As the aircraft comes overhead the field, it'll reach speeds of up to 1,000 kilometres per hour for each of the high-speed passes. Repositioning via another zero turn. A couple of interesting facts about the aircraft. There's more thrust in one engine than the entire starting grid of the V8 supercars. Around about 21,000 pounds of thrust per engine. Another zero turn to reposition for a night edge pass. Unfortunately, the cloud was a little bit too low today to perform the high show, which involves a loop, which is seldom seen in an F-111. In a loop, the aircraft would top out around 9,500 feet.
I never get my ears clear on that one. You tried yourself to do?
No, there wouldn't be enough time in a loop, unfortunately, but people's sinuses usually get a good workout. It's right at 72.5 degrees. I guess in the high-speed configuration, that's the optimal wing suite to be in. Aircraft will reposition now, and they'll fly back to 300 knots, around about 600 kilometres per hour, and have the wings back at 72 degrees. You'll see the high nose attitude of the aircraft as it does fly by, and they will complete a left-hand turn through 360 degrees at up to 18 degrees angle of attack. is taking the aircraft to the edge of its operating envelope. After about 14 degrees angle of attack now, high nose attitude, they'll get into the turn and be up at 18 degrees angle of attack. A couple of other examples to equate that would be 212,000 stubbies of beer an hour, or 2.5 cartons per second.
Well, even some of my mates in Queensland can do that.
Pretty good consumption rate.
Now the wing's reconfigured once again.
That's right, they'll complete another high-speed pass with dump and burn. The slower they are with the actual pass, the bigger the flame is for the dump and burn.
That's what that tiny black switch does.
That's right. Dumps at a rate of 2,300 pounds per minute. Onto downwind and landing.
And touchdown. Set Australia's premier strike fighter.
After the air show on Sunday, we caught up with Flight Lieutenant Susan Youngman, call sign Suze. She is the navigator in the F-111 display team. Unfortunately, the video equipment failed during our conversation, but we did manage to ask Suze about any hurdles to becoming a female navigator and the number of female aircrew on 6 Squadron.
Well, the hurdles is easy because that one's been, I think, going through school doing the subjects that I did, it was always male dominated anyway, and certainly coming to the F111 world, it's, you know, they're a great bunch of blokes to work with, and there's never been any of that sort of female, you know, versus male thing. I think we, you know, obviously bring different things to the table there. The female. Well, there have been 6 in total. There's 2 of us flying at the moment. The other 4 are doing other jobs elsewhere. So yeah, at one stage we had 4 in the squadron, which was good.
Watching the F111 team pack up the display in preparation for returning home to Amberley, it's a good opportunity for Negative G Imagery to thank Suze, Sully, Papadis, Wilson and all at 1 and 6 squadrons of 82 Wing for presenting the F111 at Richmond and for talking with us. Thanks also to Air Commodore Glenn Steed, Officer Commanding RAAF Base Richmond, for opening the base to the public, and to Wing Commander David Gades, the Base Public Affairs Officer, for providing such good filming opportunities. And finally, to all ADF personnel on the base for making the Defence Force Air Show such a great weekend.